Daily Broadside day 499. I watched the video this morning where it was talking to Rob Lowe. Some dude was interviewing Rob Lowe. And I didn't know this, but Rob Lowe went to, I think it was junior high, with Emilio Estevez, Charlie Vin Estevez Sheen, later changed his name to Sheen. Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, changed his name to Sheen just like his dad Martin did. Their real name is Estevez. And then, what was it? Robert Downey Jr., Sean Penn, and his late brother Chris Penn. All these dudes went to the same high school. Now I say that to say this. I'm coming up, I think next year will be my 30th anniversary. What is it called? Reunion. 30th reunion year, whatever. I haven't been to any of those things. I would say with the exception of going back to my hometown and on occasion running into 2 or 3 people. Like all the people I graduated or went to high school with, other than the one guy that I still hang out with, I think I might have seen like 3 or 4 of those people like in real life. Like ran into a girl in Barnes & Noble one time, that kind of stuff. So for the most part, I haven't seen those people in 30 years. And so I want to go, not to like, start some new relationships or anything, but I just want to see how fat and slovenly and ugly everybody's gotten. Because some of the pictures I've seen, some of those people that were supposedly attractive back then have not fared well. Time has not been kind, I say. What was I talking about? But could you imagine if, you went to your reunion and you knew that, like, there's a chance that Charlie Sheen and Emilio and Rob and Robert Downey and Rob Lowe and the Sean Penn brothers, were all going to be there. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. So it begs the question, all those people that are famous, there's thousands of people that are famous. They all, well, not all of them, but most of them went to a high school. Do they go to their reunions? Because everybody knows, that, hey, I went to high school with, Parker Lewis Can't Lose, whoever, I don't know why the hell that popped in my head, but whoever that guy was. But surely they don't show up, right? Because not only would everybody want to be their date just so they could go, and hang out. Like all the normal people, you'd be like, hey, take me. I'm like, I'm married. I'm going to take my wife. Yeah, but just take me. I'll pretend to be your wife. I want to meet Emilio Estevez. I loved him in, what was it, Dirty Jobs, Garbage Men? What was that stupid movie he was in with his brother? Dirty Jobs, Garbage Men, Garbage Pail Kids. What was it? Dirty Men Jobs, Garbage Men, Garbage Pail Men, something. You know what I'm talking about, all right? Had that black guy that was in like military garb, and I don't remember the plot, but anyway, yeah, so there's that. But I'm still trying to talk my buddy into going next year. Neither he or his wife want to go, and I'm telling him, and I've told him that, dude, we go, and not only do we go, but we dress up, because like I remember I saw the postings and stuff back, I guess it would have been our 25th. And they did like a Friday night hangout and then a Saturday morning tour of the high school, which, wouldn't be that bad. And you bring your kids out and show them where you went to literature class in 11th grade or whatever. And then Saturday night is the big gala event or whatever. It was like a whole weekend of planned events and whatnot. And I told him, I was like, dude, we show up to the ball and, we draw straws for who's powder blue and who's orange, but we dress up like Lloyd and Daniels, what was his name? Lloyd Christmas, and what, I'm talking about. And Dumb and Dumber #1, the orange and the powder blue suits, we dress up in that. I come in and just wail on your leg with a cane, and we just, it would be awesome, just be stupid, you know what I mean? I watched a video this morning of a guy taking out a beehive, and someone, it looked like they had to like remove the whole soffit and everything above a porch, right? And there were millions of these bees. They're everywhere, right? And he's sitting there, and it was like a 4 or 5 minute video, and he's sitting there taking all this crap apart, and he's cutting more of it more, and he keeps coming up with more honeycomb, and there was a lot of it, right? I don't know how they let it go that far without you hearing that crap in your house. But anyway, at one point, I'm looking at what he's looking at, and I see what just looks like a beard of bees all over this thing. I mean, there were hundreds and hundreds of these things, thousands of bees. And all of a sudden he goes, oh, I see the queen. Oh, she just dipped into there. And like the queen like disappeared into some wood, but he saw the queen. And I'm like, man, all I saw was bees. Like how talented do you have to be with one E? To be able to discern a queen. I know they're a little bigger and they got a little different coloration or whatever, but still, you're looking at like I'll give you an example. A couple months ago, or maybe a month or so ago, I was taking my contact out, and I'm standing at the bathroom counter, right? I'm in between the Jack and Jill sinks, as they're called, right? So I'm standing in the part where there's just a counter. There is nothing on the floor below me except a bath mat, right? And I take out my contact and it drops. And it obviously goes to the floor because it's not on the counter. Now, I got my other contact in. So I'm basically like, where the hell did that little clear bastard go? And I didn't move, right? It's not like it was a little rubber ball and it bounced down the hall. Like, it can only go down. It's not even going to bounce. It's just going to land where it lands. I spent like 18 minutes on the floor with a flashlight looking for that stupid ass contact. And the only reason I looked for it was because they're like $11 a piece, and this one was like 2 days old. So I was going to clean it up, put it back on my face, right? And I stood there and I finally found it. And it took me forever. And it was like right there. It's like when your glasses are on your head and you can't find them. It was that kind of stupid thing. And I'm laughing at myself. I'm laying on the floor like with a flashlight, like, this is so dumb. I'm talking to myself, right? I'm like talking myself through this. I'm like, this is so stupid that it could only be in like a 2 square foot area at the world's worst scenario, right? And yet I can't find this stupid thing. And this guy's lasering in with exacto precision. There's the queen. I'm like, what? I didn't even see the queen till he like picked it out, and then he found it again. He goes in a little another thing and he throws it out and he picks it out. He's like, hey, there's the queen. I'm like, maybe you get an eye for that stuff, but you sure as don't get an eye for contacts and all. And we lost Pee Wee Herman yesterday, and I will say that I thought Pee Wee Herman was pretty interesting guy because he it was a lot like Andy Kaufman. The dude stayed in character like all the time, to the point where you're like, all right, is he screwing with us, or does he really act like, does he really dress like this at 24/7 and all this? I thought he was completely unique and entertaining. It was corny, stupid, it wasn't like, really like highbrow humor. But it was just kind of dorky, but it was funny. I used to watch that Pee Wee television show on Saturday mornings all the time. It was some interesting late night weed smoking going on when they made that show, but it was pretty neat, man. And then when the movie comes out, right, that was pretty cool. And I still quote like, some stuff from that movie to this day, and I ain't seen that movie in 30-some years, probably since I was in high school. I'm a loner, Dottie, a rebel. Stuff like that comes out of my mouth at least monthly. Although I didn't like it when he woke up in the morning and he gets dressed, plays with his little toys, goes downstairs, starts the Rube Goldberg experiment for making breakfast and all. Dude never pisses once. He's been sleeping all night long, never urinates. That's pretty impressive. That I would have written that in. I would have made a Rube Goldberg thing that like unzipped his pants, pulled his dong out, urinated it, tapped him off, and then he goes to eat his cereal with Speck the dog, But they didn't do that, so that's cool. And really, if you take out the fact that, he pleasured himself in a theater once, which, whatever, most people do that. They just typically don't do it in public. They, relegate that to their home. But if you take that off the table, dude, pretty much, squeaky clean career. And again, I thought it was a pretty unique thing that he came up with, kind of a mix of Andy Kaufman and Bobcat Goldthwait, who for the longest time until I heard him talk normal, you're like, how does he talk? Does he really talk like that? Like you got to really own it to go the lengths that those people go to keep their persona real. You know what I mean? So that was pretty cool. So sad to see he had cancer. Cancer taking another seemingly cool dude. But at any rate, y'all have a good one. Get it.